Hello and welcome back to Life in Recovery. So it's the 1st of October and that means it's time to wrap up or review September 2017. So diving straight into the first category, which is word or quote of the month. The word of the month, no quote this time, is goodbye. So I think one of my quotes and words of the month in June or July was hello. Well, this time it's time for goodbye. This time a year ago I was actually saying goodbye to two very special people to me, and for a year, not forever. And bizarrely, this year I'm also saying goodbye to two very special people, two different special people, for another year. So I don't know, there's something about this time of year that everyone just leaves. So I think with goodbyes, whether they're whether they're permanent goodbyes or temporary goodbyes, always a lot of emotions come up. It's a lot of change happens. If you're used to having certain people in your life and they're then not going to be, that does come with a lot of stuff. So this month has really been, September has been kind of preparing for a lot of change in my life that comes with saying goodbye. But I think with any kind of significant shift or change or development in your life comes opportunities and excitement and chances to learn and grow. And that's how I'm seeing this new phase in my life is just that, a new phase and a different phase, and hopefully a very good one. So word of the month was goodbye. There were a bunch of other goodbyes as well. Most notably goodbye to the summer. Unfortunately, the last couple of weeks it's been pretty miserable weather here in London, very grey and miserable. So that's another big goodbye, is to summer and the fun that was had. So moving quite neatly, so leaving summer behind, moving more in towards autumn or fall or whatever you want to call it, autumn here in England. Thinking about the healthy meal or food of the month, I cooked a lot of lamb tagines in September. So something really, really comforting about a stew or a casserole, but when you chuck in a load of aromatic spices and a little bit of fruit and melt in your mouth lamb, there's nothing better when you're needing a bit of comfort food that's healthy. A lamb tagine is a really, really great option. It's very nutritious. You can pack loads of fruit and veg into the tagine and put it with some rice and a salad. If you're interested in a recipe, I have a good one that I've worked on, so I'll try and pop that on the blog for you. It's very simple, literally shoving just a load of stuff in a pot and putting it in the oven to bubble away for a couple of hours, and it's a real crowd pleaser, a good meal to serve at dinner parties and things like that. So that's my healthier meal or food of the month, is a lamb tagine. Not your traditional kind of healthy meal, but I think sometimes you do need a bit of comfort and warmth, and that's a good one. Lesson of the month. So I thought about this quite hard because I think it's important when I'm making these videos to be able to, when you're watching, for you to actually take something away from it. And the lesson of the month this month is that all of the advice in the world will never help you until you help yourself. And although that sounds quite, it could sound quite harsh and a bit tough lovish, but actually it's something that I've learned the hard way over my life. But but a lesson that's really been brought home the last few months, you know, friends or family members who are struggling, or if you yourself are struggling, people can spend a lot of time, or you can spend a lot of time advising and coaxing and caring for that person, but until that person really, really wants to help themselves, sometimes that advice can fall on deaf ears. And I think it's a really, really difficult thing when someone is obviously crying out for help, or when you yourself are crying out for help but you don't feel you're in a position to help yourself. And a lot of the time it takes a very, very long time for that person or for yourself to realise that really the power lies in you to help yourself. And when that clicks, it is amazing to see. And I think the last couple of months, some people that I know have been going through some difficult things, and when you spend a lot of time trying to help them and a lot of your energy trying to help them, but they're not maybe doing the best things for themselves, it can be difficult to see that. But when they start to make steps and move towards a healthier or a happier life, and they're making healthy choices, that is wonderful. So I think sometimes it's changing how you are advising people, or changing how you are giving your energy to other people. Sometimes you do need to be a little bit tough lovish and say, look, you're asking for help with this is what you need to do. If you're not doing that, you're not helping yourself, which is not my usual attitude. It's not the way I normally would behave. I'm much more of a soother, comforter. But sometimes people don't want to be comforted, they don't want to be soothed. They need someone to just say, look, do this, do that, and you will start moving forwards. And that's what I did a few times in September, and saw a difference in those people, but also I felt it really benefited me. And I realised that sometimes you do need to be a little bit more tough and objective in your advice giving. And actually that segues nicely into the next category, which is healthy thing to do. And this is not something I think I've talked about before or even written about before, and it's to do with boundaries and the fact that they're a good thing to have. But again, like with anything, balance is necessary with boundaries. So sometimes you can find that if you're a caregiver, if you're naturally one of those people that gives out a lot, people tend to come to you with all their problems, and that can sometimes be overwhelming. And it can mean that you're maybe not looking after yourself, and a lot of people like that tend to self-sacrifice, so they will sacrifice their own needs for the sake of others, and that's no good for anyone. I've talked about before about the oxygen mask analogy, and I think boundaries are a very similar thing. So it's really making sure there is a little bit of distance between you and that other person, and that they're maybe not, they're not putting all of their stuff on you or in you, and that having a little bit of a break or a space or a gap is a really healthy thing to do. And it doesn't mean you're being cold or hard or heartless at all. It's actually that you need that little bit of space to be able to help them, or to spend a lot of time with them. It's not that you don't want to hear their problems or you don't care for them, but actually sometimes there are some people that will just dump all of their stuff on you and not care how you're doing, not even ask how are you or how was your day or anything like that. No pleasantries, just, you know, a dump. And that's not always very healthy for you or the other person. So I think having a little bit of a boundary between you and that person is really healthy. So boundaries are a good thing. Obviously you don't want to be so far removed that you are then you know, very isolating yourself and you're isolating the other person. But I think a balance on that, having a little bit of a space between you and the really difficult stuff that someone's going through is important. And knowing when to say, actually, I need to just take care of myself, or have a little bit of a give and take, that's really important in relationships, is not just having one person that's taking all the time from you. So I think that was something that has been reiterated again and again for the last few months, but definitely a couple of things happening in September made me realize, or September and August actually made me realise that that's a really big key for people to get along well together and to be part of a community. I do think you do actually need some personal boundaries and around you. And then final category is goal for the next month. And with all this change happening and lots of exciting things coming up, but not very much routine, I feel it's important for me to get a handle on my routine again. This all ties in with balance and making sure that I'm getting enough sleep, good food, some exercise, seeing my friends, doing work. Sadly, you know, routine is really important for me, and I think recognising, you know, understanding how you work and how you best live is really important. So I know for me, I need a routine. Other people, they don't, but I think, you know, having a little bit of a look at how you're feeling about where your life is going and how it's structured is good. So for me, routine, back on it for October. So that, in a bit of a fluffy rush, is September 2017. I'd love to hear from you. I have had a few emails and messages and things recently kind of feeding back about these videos. You know, I'm really pleased that people are enjoying them and continuing to watch them. You know, I really would love to hear about what you want to see and what you want to read from, you know, at Life in Recovery. And until next time, I'll see you soon. Bye bye.